Hey guys, what do you think of my Kevin Kenson cosplay? What is going on, dudes and dudettes? Major Pineapple here, and it is no surprise that I love Nintendo consoles, but sometimes they just get the weirdest ports. Not in the sense where in the 7th generation, the Wii version was heavily downgraded from the PS3 or the Xbox 360. I mean, who was asking for Panzer's Dragoon on the Switch? I had never heard of this game until it was announced in the Nintendo Direct. It doesn't interest me, so I didn't buy it. And I don't know who was asking for this in the first place. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. While it is nice to have these on more consoles, who was asking for these? Ports that I'm including are in remasters, remakes, and collections. Like, who was asking for Mario and Luigi's Bowser's Inside Story on the 3DS? It's already on the DS, you could just play that version on the 3DS. I know the 3DS version also has Bowser Jr.'s Journey, but who was asking for this? And this also goes for Twilight Princess HD. Yeah, it's nice to have the better visuals, but honestly, I loved how this game originally played on the Wii and can't see how it could be an improved experience on the gamepad. And what baffles me the most is that most people originally played this game on the Wii, so Nintendo just took out that one aspect that everyone was introduced to with this game and gutted it for the gamepad experience, which is not as good. Those bastards. And this also goes for the Wii and DS Virtual Console games on the Wii U. First off, why would you add Wii games to the Virtual Console when the Wii U can already natively play Wii games? Yeah, I get it's nice to have these games digitally as you're always going to have them, but it just seems so unnecessary. I'd understand GameCube, but this is just so odd. But why aren't the DS games in the 3DS Virtual Console? I know the 3DS has DSiWare, but that would seem more understandable. What I can't understand though is Bethesda has the audacity to release a mobile game on the Switch. And I can't believe that I'm surprised that Bethesda has the audacity to release a free-to-play mobile game on the Switch. Elder Scrolls Blades is a free-to-play title on iOS and Android that's basically a side story in the Elder Scrolls world that no one asked for on mobile and even less people asked for on Switch. At first glance, it looks a lot like Skyrim, but it's nowhere near as good. The base game is free, which is nice, but you do have to pay for add-ons, so everything just adds up and it is not worth it. This one's more odd, but of all the Star Wars games we could have gotten, I definitely wouldn't have picked the Jedi Knight games. What's even more strange to me is that the second one released before the first, and the first one cost $10 more than the second. Why? Going back to my original point, if I were the one deciding which Star Wars games came to the Switch, I would have picked Bounty Hunter, Republic Commando, Knights of the Old Republic, or The Force Unleashed before these games. I've never heard anyone talking about this series once, and when I tried playing it, it was almost unplayable. The controls are weird, clumsy, and really awkward. And why was the second released before the first? When I was playing the second game, I was so confused. Like, who is he? Who is she? When does this game take place? At least releasing the first would have brought in much needed context here. Who knows, I'll probably try this out again, but still, it's just so weird. And while I am happy that Assassin's Creed, one of my favorite game franchises ever, especially in the early entries, gets representation on my favorite console, the Switch, these are just very odd ports. I honestly enjoy Assassin's Creed 3 very much, but this remaster is just a port of the 360 version, with basically no graphical upgrades, but they did correct the control HUD. I like this, what can I say? Then they decided to bring it full circle with the Rebel Collection, bringing the highly praised Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag and the highly underrated Assassin's Creed Rogue. All these ports are great, but I think that the Rebel Collection is just a bit odd. It didn't line up with any release on the Xbox One or the PS4 to substitute. So editors note, I totally forgot that they made a remaster of Assassin's Creed Rogue, and this is what we got in place on Switch. Oopsie. And they could have also brought the Ezio Collection to the Switch, but no! The Ezio Collection is what made this franchise explode into the mainstream, and Nintendo and Ubisoft are longtime collaborators, and they even added an Altair Mii costume for Smash Bros. Ultimate. So what is it about Ezio that Nintendo just doesn't like? I highly doubt it's the suggestive themes because both Saints Row 3 and 4 are on Switch, so what gives? But one port that still has me scratching my head to this day, and one I'm honestly extremely thankful for, is the amazing SpiderMan Ultimate Edition for the Wii U. My initial reaction to this was, "No way, that's so cool!" Followed immediately by a, "But why?" Don't get me wrong, I was more than thrilled, but I was just so confused. This is the 2012 movie tie-in game. but this version was released under a year later for the Wii U. This was one of my favorite games at the time this released, and I played it non-stop, and it's honestly the first game I ever 100% completed. I keep losing credibility every time I turn this camera on, don't I? I sold my 360 with the games, including Amazing Spider-Man, because when the Wii U launched, I thought it would have been the console to own. Not my best move. And missing this game, I was so happy to see it announced for the Wii U. I know that it isn't the best Spider-Man game, especially with Spider-Man PS4 and Miles Morales just being released. It was still a fun game from years ago. But the fact that this game, which probably didn't sell that many copies to begin with, I tried finding out how many copies this game sold, but I couldn't find anything. I highly doubt it did well based on the reviews. And we all know that the Wii U did poorly, to say the least, and it just makes so little sense to me that this got ported over. Yeah, you have all the DLC, but there's nothing else. While yeah, you can play the Wii version on the Wii U, the Wii U version for some reason doesn't have free roam. I don't know why Beanox didn't implement this in the first place. Imagine web swinging with the Wiimotes. I've already basically done this on the PSVR, and that's more fun than you'll ever know. This game is one of the reasons I wanted to get a Wii U again. While this game doesn't look that good, especially by today's standards, and the gameplay and controls are just I still love this game. But I have to ask again, who asked for this? Anyway, dudes and dudettes, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to click that like and subscribe button, and let me know down in the comment section below, what do you think are some weird Nintendo ports? I know this is such an odd question, but there are so many other weird ports that this company has. Like, how many copies do you think Bulletstorm or Call of Juarez really sold on the eShop? And dudes and dudettes, new videos on Tuesdays. Major Pineapple out.